perils, which is the biggest concern for companies in Nigeria, Africa, Middle East, South Africa, and around the world in 2022. That's according to the Allianz Risk Barometer, which was launched yesterday. That report says that the threat of ransomware attacks, data breaches, or major IT outages worries companies more than business and supply chain disruption, natural disasters, or even the COVID-19 pandemic, all of which have heavily affected firms in the past year. Speaking to me on this tonight is NIRAN Adeyemi, is a property and casualty underwriting expert at Allianz. Thanks for coming through on the show tonight.
Thank you, boss. Good evening.
Great. Thanks for coming. It's good to have you. Why does cybersecurity threats remain the biggest concern for companies in Nigeria and around the world?
Well, it's not surprising that it's the biggest threat right now around the world, following the COVID-19 pandemic that we've had to face in the last couple of months. On the heels of that means that globally there's an increase in remote work, and as such, there's an opportunity for criminal elements whose specialty is cybercrime. Of course, the rise of cryptocurrencies over the last couple of months, years also, has opened the way for anonymous payment opportunities in terms of ransoms when these cyber criminals attack. So, of course, the surge that we experience currently in cyber attacks is not surprising at all, and that's why it remains a concern for global business.
If you look at your reports, how do the regions and countries rank in terms of cyber risks, by the way? Do we have certain, just give me roughly across regions, as it were, focus a bit more on Africa.
Right. So, although globally and in Africa and the Middle East, cyber risk is the top of the list, but interestingly, some countries in Europe and America, it ranks set number 2 or number 3. Coming down to Africa, of course, it ranks number 1 in Nigeria and South Africa. However, in Ghana, it ranks number 2. Cyber risk also ranks number 4 in Morocco, and number 5 and number 6 in Kenya and Madagascar, bringing to Africa. Of course, they recognize cyber risk, but it's not number 1 on the list of certain countries in Africa as it were. But overall, considering Africa as a whole, cyber risk still remains number 1 and top risk for businesses.
But how are organizations coping or dealing with this concern? Is there an estimated cost of what is cybercrime, cyber insecurity is costing private sector, businesses, organizations, and others?
Organizations have begun introducing best practices across their business endeavors. First of all, there's increased security across businesses and software solutions across organizations. We've also seen the multi-factor authentication introduced across different businesses. Regular security patches also, as well as regular training of staff and personnel on the use of business solutions across the environment of the organization has been on the upturn since the last few years. We know also that the Allianz Risk Barometer report that we have produced every year over the last 11 years continues to be a guide to many businesses across the world, and the report is available for businesses to use in taking care or in dealing with the threats of cyber organization.
So when you talk about preparedness, what are some of the suggestions that this Allianz Risk Barometer report contains, which organization published?
Well, first of all, the AGC as Allianz Global Commercial and has published a checklist with recommendations for effective cyber risk management. There are also regulations around data protection and data sharing that is supposed to help organizations who have not yet identified the risks that they are exposed to. There's also the cyber insurance coverages that have been introduced in the market by Allianz and other insurance agencies across the region. And this is also supposed to help with combating the threats that cyber risk presents to us in our business and in business organizations so far. And these are some of the things that businesses have had to do and deal with in terms of protection of their organizations from cyber threats.
But Niro, do you think this cyber threats and risk is likely to decelerate anytime in the future as we go for more of a digital adoption, fintech, cryptocurrency, everything digital, cloud, whatever computing, everything that is new, AI, whatever. Do you think algorithms, do you think the cyber risks will decelerate?
Well, because we have to maintain a positive outlook, we have identified these threats, and globally, there's concerted efforts to ensure that things get better. However, there's a risk, there's a fear that incidences of these attacks or these threats may actually go on the rise first before it begins to decrease. But ultimately, it's expected that in the near future, with all of the things being put in place, it's expected that this risk to decelerate over time. But we are prepared as professionals for a surge, because again, this is how the trends happen before it begins to go down. But ultimately, in the future, there's the signs that it will accelerate.
I like that optimism side of things. But let's keep our eyes open, one permanent eye open at all times. Keep an eye on your data, and everyone, keep it very safe. We appreciate your insights into that new reporting tonight on Global Risk Barometer published by Allianz. NIRAN Adeyemi, do have a great evening.